How you feeling?
Hungover.
What'd you drink?
Everything.
Oh, that's the problem.
No, okay. It was all right. It was a marathon day, so like I paced myself and I did my thing, but like
Oh, I forgot about
it
that.
was one buddy's birthday who we did an emo bracket, so an emo song bracket, which was very fun. And everyone submitted songs, and you went down to like a March Madness tournament bracket and you voted and stuff. Misery Business won the emo bracket total, which was very interesting. I'm still in my chem. It's kind of I thought I was Black Parade all the way. It did not make it, but I'm Not Okay, I Promise made it to the final four. And I was like, all right, so that is now my pick. Misery Business beat that and took it home. And I was like, all right. But so we did that all day. So like I had a few drinks. Haley's birthday dinner was like, all right, had a few drinks with birthday dinner. And then I was not expecting Haley to say she wanted to go out later. So I was like, all right, if Haley's going out, we're doing it. So
yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Did what I had to. We're doing okay.
Yeah, I feel like if I was on the West Coast for that, I probably would not be available at this hour.
No, you would be dead.
I might be. Right now. I might be. Yeah. Instead, I'm gonna match your energy because I took a red eye last night, and I'm very tired. I'm very tired.
I hate that. I've done that once or twice. I don't get how you do it all the time.
You know what's weird? I was thinking about this. I feel like the red eye from LA to New York kind of like knocks me off kilter more so than those bigger ones, like the Thailand one, or even the one that I just took to Dublin. I got to Dublin and I functioned the whole day and all night while I was there.
Dublin was you did direct there, right? You went there.
Yes. I wound up doing direct both ways. Well, that's right. That potential nightmare was averted only for the interview that I was coming back for to get canceled.
Oh man, that sucks.
It was rescheduled.
But it was 7.5 straight there, right?
Oh, 10.
Oh, it was 10 straight there.
10 there, 11-ish back.
Got it. Okay. I don't know why I thought it was like super easy to get there for some reason, but like, okay, 10, that makes sense.
I mean, it really wasn't that bad. You know, the only thing that was really stinky poo-poo, I love how we're doing a movie review show and I'm about to review an airline. I did not love Aer Lingus. And apparently that's a thing. Someone there told me you should have taken a different airline and done a connecting flight like through Heathrow or something, and we did not do that. I'm like a short person, but I suffer on planes when there's no legroom. This was like one of the worst legroom situations. It was very difficult. It was very difficult. It was very uncomfortable. And they also wouldn't let me use my TSA pre-check. And I wasn't prepared. I wasn't wearing socks, Matt, and I had to go through security and I wanted to die.
That's your big thing.
It is. It's gross. I don't want my feet touching the dirty communal floor.
That's fair. I get that. Ugh. I'm a sock wearer, so I always have them on me, but
Hi. Yeah, I should have. You what?
I was just saying we got 2 soupies.
Oh my god. We were literally just talking about them before and I almost forgot. Mental Me wants to know, when applying for a freelance job on Collider, it says a Mackie is an asset. What exactly is a Mackie? A Mackie is a CMS, so it's a content management system. Think something like WordPress. It's the tool you use to build your articles. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit, Mental Me. That's what a Mackie is.
That.
Fun fact. Mike wants to know, Lupita went through a lot for a slice of pizza. What's the most you've done for a food you've craved? This is a great question.
I have multiple answers, which is hilarious. I'm trying to think.
First.
Well, I'm trying to think which one was farther. When I lived in New York City, I think it would have to be either driving 2 hours for barbecue in Connecticut. Me and Joe. Me and my buddy Joe Pachulo just love food. This is what we do. We go to restaurants.
Beer pong pro. Everybody here should know Joe.
That's right. I forgot about it. Yeah. Beer pong pro. Beer pong pro Joe. But yeah, so like we lived in Brooklyn at the time, and we heard about this barbecue joint in Connecticut. And Brooklyn is good barbecue. Don't get me wrong. Like there's dinosaur barbecue and there's some good stuff. But like nothing like you get in Austin or anywhere else. And I'm not saying Connecticut barbecue compares to Austin, but we heard of this place that was dope. We drove an hour and a half, 2 hours just there to get it. We were very happy with what we got and we just drove home. Or we went to a beer festival in Vermont. I forget what mountains out there that people like skiing on, but the ski resort had a beer festival, and he loved to go there because he was a snowboarder. I'm a lodge guy. I just hang out in the lodge and do my thing. But so I went with him to the beer festival. I'm a lodge guy. I did the winter sports. It's too cold for me. I like a summer sport. Like I like to be at that kind of stuff. But anyway, so the same thing. We knew a restaurant that was on the way to Vermont, and it was really far up there. So like that actually was more hours. But like we planned the trip around going to this one restaurant. I had like, again, I had the best poutine I've ever had outside of Montreal there.
The first example that came to my mind, probably because San Diego Comic-Con is right around the corner. Matt, you know how strongly I feel about East Coast diners.
Yeah.
I love diner food. I grew up on diner food. There are so many places in LA that claim to be diners that are not diners. The food does not taste the same. It's like a glorified cafe or something. It's not real diners. San Diego has a real diner, and that diner is Brian's 24. It is very, very good. There is often a very, very long line, and there has been at least 1 or 2 occasions where I waited in that line for like an hour to 2 hours so that in the middle of the night at San Diego Comic-Con, I could eat like a breakfast platter or a turkey club or a proper BLT or a grilled cheese. And I wouldn't be surprised if you could find me doing that there again this year.
A few weeks. Yeah, I'm from Jersey. I know my diners.
Yeah.
The Pompton Queen, my local diner, was voted the best in Jersey a few years.
Have we not taken Perri to the diner here?
I don't think we've taken Perri to the diner here. Which one are you talking about?
The one that we went to with Clint. The like actual.
Oh yeah, there's a diner over here in Santa Monica that actually
does. Real?
It is a real diner.
Okay.
We did go there. Our buddy took us one time, and it's made up to be like a 60s diner. So like that is the entire vibe. That's what it looks like inside. There's all these like kitschy pictures on the wall and stuff like that. But the food, like again, Jersey, near and dear to my heart, diners, even like Long Island diners didn't even hold up to me to Jersey diners. Like it was like, yeah,
they're good. You, Matt.
No,
you went to the wrong Long Island diners. Do not. We are drawing the line here. You do not fight with me about Long Island diners.
I was going to the diners by Hofstra, so Nassau County. I was going to Nassau County diners. I don't know.
Which diner?
Good God, I have no idea. Whatever was closest.
They're cheating you there. They know you're like dummy college students with hangovers.
I believe that.
You're downgrading the quality of their diner food and tricking you.
I honestly believe that. Like that very well could have been the thing because again,
the ones in my orbit like set the standard for diner food for me. And then when I was living in Manhattan, I wouldn't be surprised if like we ate here once or twice, but it was always when I was living in Times Square, it was Cosmic Diner on 8th Avenue.
I remember Cosmic.
Oh my, the amount of money I spent eating there and ordering in from there in the middle of the night was a little ridiculous.
Bringing up Pachulo again, just stories of yesteryear. We would go drinking, and like when I lived in Brooklyn, like we just go out on Friday or Saturday, and whenever we were done, we'd always end up back at my place, and we would always order Court Square was ours, so like Greenpoint, so like right across in, I guess that would be Long Island City. They had Court Square Diner, and it was 24 hours, and no matter when we ordered, no matter like what we needed or craving was, they always hooked it up.
This is a great question. It's a great plot.
I love food too. Like that. Like there's so many answers I could go through. Like, what's the craziest thing I've done for food? Like, yeah, I've got plenty of answers.
It's a great plot point too. I appreciate that. I appreciate that motivation. We will indeed. There was 1 or 2 other chats that I wanted to bring up. Oh, have you seen Ghostlight yet?
I haven't yet. It's on the list.
It's one of the best movies I've seen all year. I know what Amelia's thinking if she could hear me say this, because I have to watch St. Francis still, and I swear I will. That's the filmmakers of Ghostlight. That was their movie before this one, and I believe they already have their next movie lined up. And off the top of my head, I feel like it's a body swap movie.
Yeah.
So Ghostlight stars a real life acting family playing a family in the movie, and they are all truly exceptional. And I think their next movie is the father and daughter in a body swap kind of situation.
Cool.
Maybe
that's cool.
I want to make sure I have that right.
Yeah, everything I've heard about Ghostlight is like best of the year. So like I'm going to get to it. I just haven't had a chance yet.
Yeah, it is a body swap movie. It's so good. Mental Me is spot on here. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, and it's definitely going to be one of those ones that's in contention for me at the end of the year.
Nice. Yeah, I'm looking for those kind of like in the rough stuff. I've been trying things and I've been striking out on a bunch of movies like Daddyo and stuff. Like I don't
You
know.
didn't like Daddyo?
No, I was so bored. Oh,
I mean, I'm not gonna say I love Daddyo. I think it was
yeah.
more admiration for the production process on
I
that.
believe
Like,
that. Yeah,
I do
yeah.
find it really fascinating that they filmed the drive and then projected the drive on the volume and shot all the cab scenes on a soundstage with everything being projected around them. I thought that was really interesting, and
I thought that was
I was
good.
compelled by some of the conversation.
The problem was like again for those who don't know what Daddyo is, it's Dakota Johnson and Sean Penn in a hour and 45-minute car ride from JFK to Manhattan, and Sean Penn is the cab driver, Dakota Johnson is the passenger, and like they kind of set it up to be this like little like psychosexual, like what is the relationship here, like is he hitting on her, is it like what is it, and it turns out just to be nothing. It turns out it's just a conversation, which like I think there's value and merit to. I like the idea of just two people talking and like the guards breaking down the conversations you can have with someone you're never going to see again. But I just thought it was kind of like toothless. I like the conversations they had, I feel like went nowhere. I feel like they never dug into the things that the themes they brought up. And like, that's why it was boring to me. It wasn't just like, oh, we're sitting in a car. Like I love a single location thriller and stuff like that. But this was just very, I just feel like the conversations went nowhere. That was my problem. Like
I can't argue with that too much. I definitely liked it a little more than you, but I also I hear your criticisms on it.
yeah.
There's another I was about to say smaller movie. I have to stop saying that. A movie that's not like a big studio blockbuster that's coming out soon that I believe you liked. I just moderated something for it, so it's fresh on my mind. Kill.
Oh, Kill fucking rules.
Shit.
Yeah, no, I love Kill. I don't just like Kill. Like Kill is one of my favorite of the year, hands down.
I could watch it over and over.
Yeah.
Like it's like a fun, highly immersive ride round one. But then I highly advise people going to see it again and really just like marveling at every single step contained within each set piece and all the special effects used and the visual effects used to enhance that kind of stuff. Like that is like an ambitious action movie.
I like there's a lot of stuff I won't say because the movie's not even out yet. But like I love when the title card hits and what it does.
Oh yeah, me too.
Like, that is just it's just perfect. Like how pacing everything. I'm really excited because like I've obviously been quoted in trailers before and stuff like that. But this is the first. I'm very happy. This is the first time that a bunch of my like non-movie friends are reaching out to me and being like, "Dude, I just saw XYZ movie and like they played the Kill trailer and like, dude, your name was in that." But I don't care that my name is in the trailer. Like that happens before. That's very cool. But the fact that an international action movie that I did not think was going to get the push it is getting is like breaking the barrier between me and my like normal friends, whatever you want to say, like my normal movie going friends. And I'm like, so I love that like the hype is actually starting here for Kill. And like my friends who like don't even know what the raid is and stuff are like hyped on Kill. And I'm like, fuck yeah, like that's the best.
I mean, yeah, the easiest comp I could give anybody watching who does not know what Kill is if you like the raid, you will also like Kill a lot. When I was moderating, it was for the director and the producer the other night. I think that's new. I know this news is out there because I think I asked it in the form of a follow-up question, but they're looking to make another one. They want to turn it into a franchise.
Yeah. That'd be so cool.
I'd be into it.
Like the thing is like it is 100% the raid on a train. But like I keep saying it has these like RRR sensibilities where just a little bit. I don't want to like oversell it and say it is triple R, but in the way that triple R is so many things, like it's a romance, it's this, it's that. I feel like that's in Kill because like the raid is just straightforward front to backward action. Like that's what it is. You get in, you get out. It's just action, action, action. I really like a subplot in here that is tossed in, and I think it's done very well.
Can you give me a hint?
I mean, there's a romantic angle.
I liked how that was used quite a bit.
100%. And I feel like that is the Indian filmmaking. It's like it's bigger, it thinks about everything, and it does these things that like a normal like action movie would kind of be like, why do we give a shit about a romantic subplot? That doesn't matter. Like, no, it matters. This is great.
I thought the way they incorporated that was really effective. The other thing that I loved about the movie that I don't think a lot of action movies do is showing certain layers of like the bad guys.
Yeah.
Like they went out of their way to make sure they weren't surface level cookie cutter bad guys that when they
Mhm.
got into a fight, it mattered on both sides. Maybe for different reasons, but it still matters.
Yeah. Well, when it comes out, we'll have a whole little talk about that.
I would
'cause
love that.
plenty I've got to talk to. Just looking at some commies.
2 more
No.
super chats.
Shouldn't shorten that word.
Yeah.
That was a short, and I shouldn't do. Oh, did you see The Exorcism?
I didn't see it. No, I started to hear not so great things, and I'm like, oh, I have other things to do that should be my priority.
So, like, here's my issue. Some people really like it, and I understand why. I was talking to Meg Navarro, and like, she was on the positive side of it. And do you know the story behind it?
Probably when you start saying it, but let's say no for now.
So it's I just want to get the name right really quickly. Exorcism movie. Exorcism film. Okay. So it was for if you've seen The Final Girls, it was
Yeah.
directed by Joshua John Miller and co-written with M.A. Fortin. So like same team in The Final Girls. And Joshua John Miller is the son of one of the main actors of The Exorcist. So basically what The Exorcism is he took all those stories from set that he heard about like kind of haunting things and stuff like that, and turned it into a horror movie called The Exorcism. And Russell Crowe's character is playing an actor who is starring in a horror remake that is The Exorcist. They don't say it out loud. They never tell you it's a remake of The Exorcist, but it's very clear that it's a remake of The Exorcist. So like it becomes this deeply layered meta kind of like filmmaking movie about horror, the horror industry, but also there's a possession happening on like that stuff. And there's also clearly studio interference. The third act just falls the fuck apart. It is bad. It is not good. But I from a very personal sense, I think the movie it tries something, and I think some people will gravitate towards it more if you really dig into like the personal element of like watching your father go through things on this set and all that stuff. Yeah, and like literally it has no connection to the post Exorcist. I saw people bringing that up like still after it released, and they're like, wait, is this the same movie? Because like the poster's the same. They knew what they were doing putting it out now. In any case, I don't like I did not like it. Again, I'm not going to bat for it. I do think it is a messy, sloppy movie. I do not think it's the filmmaker's fault per se, because once again, you can see where this thing is chopped to hell. And I would love to see a director's cut of it actually. But yeah, it did not work for me. Like it basically set up this premise to be this really original exorcism possession movie, and then the third act abandons it and becomes a very boring, dull, traditional exorcism movie. That's all I can say. It doesn't make use of the film set. That my biggest gripe is like your whole thing is you're an exorcism movie on a film set of The Exorcist, basically. And they just abandon that whole thing. And I'm like, oof.
Well, that just gives me more reason to pass and watch other things.
Yeah. Can you do Vincent's at 12:22? I'll just do this very quickly.
Vincent's at 12. This one?
Yeah. Yeah, I can finally announce that this happened, which is really fucking cool. They're doing Arrow Video is doing a 4K release of the Friday the 13th remake, which is very near and dear to my heart. So I have a video essay on that, on special features, which is really fucking cool because like it's my first fucking. Sorry, it's not my first special feature. It's actually funny. I recorded a commentary after I did that, and that made it out to the public before this did. But yeah, so this comes out in September. I'm really happy with it. I saw it already. I saw what they put together in the video package, and like, you know, it was the first time I ever recorded a script myself and like did that. So very happy about that. So thank you, Vincent.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. All right, we got super chats. David's here. Hey, Perri and Matt, good to see you back doing live stream again. I know you've been busy traveling for work. I understand how exhausting it is. Went to New York for the first time to see some Broadway shows. It's really complicated. Yeah, so I think Robin might have mentioned this in the live chat earlier. We weren't live. I feel like usually we're pretty good at staying consistent when one of us goes away. Going abroad is different.
No, yeah, like There's
When
a
I
difference between 3 hours and like 6-7
Yeah,
hours.
like when I was in Bangkok, it was just like the hours were just absolutely absurd. And the same thing was true of Dublin. Also, there's just no time on those trips. I was
No.
in Dublin for 3 nights. I wish I had more time so badly. Um, I did some really cool things, Matt, that I think you would appreciate
Yeah.
though. Like beginning with that Guinness. That's that's no joke. That's no joke.
Oh, I
That's
know.
very, very real. I took my first sip of Guinness, and it's like heavenly. I think that might be the single best glass of beer I've ever drank.
Straight out. Yeah. Like I've never had it there. Obviously, I've never been there yet, but everyone has said that.
I will go as far to say if you've never had a glass of Guinness in Ireland, you've never had one before. It's night and day to me.
Yeah. I like a Guinness too. Like I came around on it. I always thought it was that like, oh, it's Guinness is heavy, Guinness is this. Like, no, it's actually not. Like it's quite nice and refreshing.
Um, it's definitely nice, refreshing, yes. So the first night I was there, I drank the Guinness. The second night I didn't drink at all because we were filming the next day and I needed to be functional. The last night we were there though, like we went out and
Yeah.
I couldn't have the Guinness.
Oh, that's fair.
Um,
Yeah.
I was with someone who because I wanted something lighter so I could have a little more and we could have a longer night. And the way he pitched me this beer, which was actually pretty good, but I feel like it might not have been, the highest priority Dublin beer to drink.
Probably.
He said it was like the McDonald's of beers, which like kind of to me sounds like, like Bud Light. But it wasn't Bud Light. It was real. Like it tasted
Yeah.
good. It was just, it was crisp and light and refreshing.
Which is fair. I mean, like again, like when you know the scenario you're in, sometimes you adjust your drinking to be like, okay, I'm only having a vodka soda tonight or something like that. Like I get that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the thing is though, it's like you adjust your drinking. Like if I had had a Guinness, it would have been a respectable amount of a heavier beer.
Right.
Meanwhile, I took a lighter one and just had so much of it.
Yeah. That's how you do it.
That's how math works, right?
That is how math works.
The other thing that I saw that you'd probably really like, it was recommended to me. It was at a museum in Dublin. It's called the Bog Bodies. I'll
Okay.
probably do a really shitty job explaining this, so please Google what it is. But it's some sort of it's like the Bog Body Project or experiment or something. But it's bodies that were preserved by a bog. So I think they're all dated something like 100 to like 400 BC, and it's these bodies that are preserved and then displayed in a museum, and it's wild because before you go into like the little section where each body is, it'll have a description on the wall of who the person was, what happened to them, and to read that and then see with your own eyes the results.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
just it's really wild. It's
like
something else.
Maybe cool is obviously like a description.
But I get what you mean. So that was probably one of the highlights of the trip was getting to see that. And then the other thing, this is so on brand for me. Someone told me about 99 ice cream.
Okay.
Now I need to like look up exactly what was in it that made it so special. But you know how much I love frozen yogurt and soft serve ice cream.
I do know that.
It was like made for me, and it's addictive. I was there for 3 days and I had 4 of them.
What's the TIFF place? The Toronto one?
Sweet Jesus.
Sweet Jesus, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so a 99 flake, 99 or 99, they just wrote it out, is an ice cream cone with a Cadbury flake inserted in the ice cream. I mean, I feel like that description doesn't do it justice, but
I mean, listen, I'm always down to try desserts and stuff like that, so that is fine.
I mean, and now I'm about to show a shitty picture of it, but it was so good. It was so good.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes, I enjoyed it too much. I swear I ate real food too, but the ice cream and the beer was obviously the highlight. All right. Shall we go down the super chats?
Yeah, I was just looking at some actually. I was just going through other chats and seeing what we got.
South Indian Geek wants to know, what are your thoughts about the Jurassic World Chaos Theory animated show? I saw the show, thought it was really good. Matt, I still haven't watched it.
Yeah, I'm real behind on my television, so that will be something I tackle.
I did just I was telling you before we went live, I did just binge The Boys though. So I can talk a little bit about that now, because I think last time you did the non-spoiler review and I hadn't watched any.
That is correct. And at this point, we're up to episode 5. Just
yeah. Well, I mean, we won't spoil anything if you're not super caught up, but I like the first thing that comes to mind in terms of what to say is one of the things that you had brought up last time was not liking how repetitive it was. And I'm on the opposite side of that, where I like how repetitive it is, because it better reflects how we operate in the real world. Like, we keep making the same shitty mistakes over and over. And as hard as you fight to make things better, you still wind up landing in the same crappy position. And I feel like that cycle is what's having the show dig in a very real way.
So I get that. I actually like that storytelling too. Like, when you're able to convey that. I think what I would say is, like, when that happens in a movie, though, you're getting that in a contained 2-hour scenario, where The Boys is on season 4 doing it, and to me that's too long to have that going. Here's my thing. I love The Boys up to this point too. I think like season 1 is good, season 2 gets better, and season 3 is fucking great. Gen V also fucking amazing. So like the last 2 The Boys products I've had, I was on the top scale of. But now getting to season 4, I understand the repetitive nature is like reality, and we are stuck in this shitty as hell cycle. But for storytelling purposes, I feel like they've introduced a scenario now where they keep adding to the subplots. Like, they keep adding more and more, but they're not subtracting really. And to me, it has just become too much.
Can you give a non-spoiler example?
What's killing me is the examples on my mind are so spoiler, and they just happened last episode, so I don't want to really get into it. But I feel like one I can give an easy one to me is Frenchie and Kimiko. Like, I feel like they're doing that off and on again thing now to season 4, and it's just getting like, again, I'm commenting on where we are in the show. We are at season 5, episode 5, and like, I just feel like that is something they keep like running into the ground.
I'm trying to word this in a way that well avoids spoilers. I'll kind of repeat what I said about the overall structure of the show and apply it to individuals also. Like, it's like the same thing. I actually find it really refreshing that they're telling stories in a way where it's not like, oh, you discover this thing or you have this experience, and then you can like wipe your hands clean of like a really like deep-seated problem. It's things that like fester and stay there. And then what's happening around you either pushes or pulls that thing in a positive or negative direction. Like, that's kind of why I really like what they're doing with Huey this season too. I find that he's in similar situations that I've seen him in before, but watching how he processes them differently based on what he's been through and what he's facing is what's keeping that fresh and entertaining and interesting in a new way.
So I know, like, I'm trying to not to do it spoilery, so like I'm trying to like figure out a way to get around it.
It's hard.
Well, we can talk more in depth maybe like after this season is over and like do that. But yeah, like I think again, my biggest thing, I'm trying to use season 3 and where that ends, and every season just kind of to me is the boys going through something to get to Homelander. It doesn't work, and we're right back at the beginning. And I don't feel like they make enough ground progressing the characters where I can't really get into it without going super spoilery shit, but like I'm just feeling the repetition. My big thing is I'm feeling the repetition, and I am feeling like they aren't making like for every step forward there's 3 steps back. Like that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Without spoilers, obviously, at the end of season 4, who do you think gets the best story arc of the season? I know my answer.
Based on where we are with episode 5, based on what I've seen so far, I'm going to stay with Sister Sage.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's really good.
That is an example of a good injection of like originality, let's say. Like that to me is the one character I think they've added at this point who is doing great things because, like, yes, of course, give me the super smart character who can look at Homelander and be like, "You're an idiot," and that dynamic is very good. That's good.
See, that's I think her addition to the show is a perfect example of what I was articulating earlier, where like Homelander's kind of in the same shit all over again, but now all of a sudden you plop in a person that approaches that in a slightly different way and challenges him in a different way, and then all of a sudden something that feels repetitive maybe is, but gets a fresh layer because of it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'll give you that. I'll give you that on Sister Stage. I do like her a good deal. So
okay, so I feel like I have to shout out a couple of people. First person that comes to mind being a favorite this season is A-Train. I am a very big fan of what they're doing with that character. I also feel like Jesse T. Usher's always been very good. There's certain nuances in his performance in season 4 that I think is really well highlighting how he has gotten even better and better and better every season. I'm a very big fan of him. I also think Colby Menifee deserves way more credit than she ever gets for what she does in this show. Like, I feel like it's because she's not like a Soup or one of the boys. It's so easy to forget that she's been with the show since day one. And every single time she steps into a scene, like something about it like lights up a room or lights up a situation in a really fresh way that is so unique to her performance and her character.
The way that she reacts to things in such horror and confusion while also having to hold it together. There is something special about those whenever like she walks into a scenario knowing Homelander can kill her. So she has to put on that face and do that thing. Yeah.
I'm really into her work. And then I'll just echo Susan Hayward as Sister Sage. Just
great.
Perfect casting. Perfect casting.
And I think Firecracker is boring to me. Like not even the performance. I understand the performance is doing exactly what's asked, and I actually do think that I'm blanking on Firecracker.
Valerie Curry.
Yeah, I think Valerie Curry is doing good work with what she's given. I am just stuck with the fact that like, okay, cool, we're gonna do the whole it's Homelander's arc. I get it. Like we're gonna have people that just support Homelander's views and go full corrupt MAGA, all that stuff. Full blown Nazi. Like we're doing the full blown Nazi thing again. And important. I get it. Show it. Make sure people understand it. Howard just said, I think it's hilarious to see some right wingers finally realizing the boys is extremely critical of the right wing politics. Like that is hilarious to me that anyone ever thought Homelander was the good guy. But talking about the repetition, I'm just feeling like we're doing the same thing again with her character, and that's the point. But it's not working for me.
I love how the more we talk about this, the more you go away from the repetition, and the more like that seems to me to be the theme of this season. And that's like again, that's what makes Homelander especially interesting. Him thinking he wants something, but then being pulled back to old habits. Oh, there was someone else that just came to mind as you were explaining that, where I was just like, oh, that's another perfect example of a repetitive arc that is really successful in the new layer they add. It'll come to me later, probably when we're on another topic and no one will remember this anymore. All right. We have many more super chats to get to. The next one was from Wiley. Want to see day one, but have not had time. Have you watched season 3 of The Bear yet? Seen it 2 times now. This show is my favorite thing. Good soundtrack too. I think I might download that and try to binge it on my flight back to LA.
Yeah, that's my Bear is my next binge. I very much can't wait to get to it. Just again, a billion fucking things to do. I just binged Shoresy. That was Friday night, that's my show. So like near and dear, I just did season 3 of Shoresy. So now that that's done, I can get to The Bear next. Like I'm working there. I'm doing work on it.
Trying to think of what else I've binged, but I don't think I'm allowed to say what I binged. So I'm not gonna.
There you go.
Yep. Following the rules. David's back. Hey, Perri, what were your thoughts on Yorgos Lanthimos' new movie, Kinds of Kindness? I loved it a great deal, and I'm surprised it has mixed reviews. It could easily get a few Golden Globe noms and an Oscar nom for screenplay. I actually haven't seen it yet, and that makes me really sad because I'm a huge Yorgos fan and a huge fan of everybody he works with, but unfortunately, my recent assignments have not overlapped with this movie. But from the perspective of someone who hasn't seen it, but is kind of reading the room and the current landscape for award season, I fear that if you're coming out right smack in the middle of the year, even if you have a whole bunch of like familiar Oscar names, I don't think you're going the distance on mixed reviews, and also not the biggest box office. Like that's another thing. I feel like in order to signal that it's got the staying power to make it all the way to Oscar season, it would have needed to be like a phenomenon right now. But I just don't see it happening with this one. But I really want to see it.
I'm the same boat. I haven't crossed any assignments on it, so I didn't get to it yet. I am excited to get to it. Obviously, it's a Yorgos movie, so I will. But yeah, like everything everywhere being such an anomaly of carrying that hype over from a later date. Like that was March, right? That was like March, I think.
Well, premiered at South by, and then it came out. I think it was April.
Oh, was it? Okay, but like still, like even that, like
Yeah,
an April to end of year, like insane. I don't see kindness having that kind of staying power. If it does, great, but
I guess
what you said, it does. People aren't talking about it the same way they were talking about everything everywhere.
Does not seem it, but who knows? Anything can happen. I'm really eager to see it myself. Travis wants to know: have you watched the trailer for Nosferatu? Just came across the trailer for Heretic, starring Hugh Grant. Interesting premise. You should react to it. I actually didn't watch the most recent Nosferatu trailer. There was another trailer, and then I was so mad that I didn't watch it. Oh no, it was Heretic because I felt like an asshole. Well, I mean, I guess you can't do everything, but because remember when we were at the Maxine premiere, Sophie Thatcher was there, and I feel like it would have been a really nice thing to have watched the trailer before going to her movie premiere, so that like
can actually
I could have congratulated her or something, but completely missed it, and it came out that day. So then I watched it after, and it's great.
Yeah, it's an interesting little trailer. Like I like a labyrinth. I like the idea of like a mice running through a maze kind of thing. Hugh Grant playing villain is obviously very good. I am very okay with that.
Yeah.
So I like what I'm seeing in it. It feels very, very A24. Like not to like use that as a derogatory or anything. It just feels very much like an A24 horror movie.
A24 and Neon are dominating this year with genre. I love what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, throw Shudder in there too. Like honestly, my
true.
My top 3 of the year right now are Shudder movies. Like, I love
just for horror.
Yeah, I guess if we're talking about horror, that's fair. It's Exuma infested and stop motion. And then
I love that stop motion's up there. That makes me really happy.
Yeah, those are my top 3, and then A Quiet Place is right there. Like it's just it's jumped up.
Quiet Place is pretty high up for me. A movie that's upcoming that we can't talk about is pretty high up. I can say Maxine and Longlegs are quite high up. Oddity has a good chance of being high up.
Yeah, Oddity's good.
It's What's Inside from Sundance, assuming that it gets dated for next year. I don't know what's going on with that.
When I was talking to PR reps at South by, they talked like it was an October release, but it's Netflix. They're not going to talk about it. That's the thing. It's just going to come out.
That's such a good movie to do a long lead up. Like they should take a cue from the Longlegs playbook and do. Longlegs has had one of the absolute best marketing campaigns.
Yep. Those people.
I do hope they're rewarded and it pays off when it comes to box office numbers, but I think that's been a really good conversation starter.
It has. They've been crushing it. That's another one of those, like when my normal movie-going friends, whatever you want to say, like them having so much knowledge of Longlegs because of that campaign, they're doing very well. I just got a comment on my Longlegs review on Letterboxd with the cryptic message and everything.
Oh, I love that stuff. I was trying to look up the box office projections on it, but I don't.
Do they have any yet?
Well, Maxine is first.
Yeah, well, Maxine's next week.
Yeah, let me see if Maxine has anything legit out there.
I don't know. I'm actually curious on Maxine. I don't know if that's going to go over super well box office wise. I know X did, and I know I'm
curious too, but I do think that I do think that this is one of the rare, or I hope at least, that it's one of the rare franchises where interest is only increasing with each new installment.
That's fair.
Because I think Mia Goth's star is soaring higher and higher with each new installment. And then also when you factor in, so X came out when we were, I mean, it was 2022, so things were open, but it was when we were leaning much more heavily towards watching things at home still. And then Pearl comes out, and I think that put Mia Goth on the map in a new, really important way. And then all of a sudden you have this movie that not only features her, but a star-studded ensemble. No, I feel like the recipe here is going to produce bigger and bigger results.
That's fair.
And like, clearly A24 is getting behind it in a big way.
Well, yeah.
That Maxine premiere was big. That was a big premiere.
That I again, like joking about, not even joking, just talking to people about like seeing X in the New Bev in a tiny theater. Like, you know, the New Bev is a great theater. I love it. But at the same time, like, it's a smaller theater compared to where you can have your premiere and stuff. So like to see it there and be like, all right, X is going to get a little New Bev push. And then 2 movies later have Maxine at the Chinese and like just red carpet treatment, everything. That it is crazy that it blew up over 3 movies basically. And like Pearl, I saw like at the Draft House. Like they just did like a Draft House rollout for it. So like
I can't remember where I saw Pearl. I have a problem with these movies where I see them so many times. I can't remember where I started, or I'm not allowed to tell you where I started.
You're like, which screening did I see it in? What did I do?
Maxine, of all of the movies that have come out thus far in 2024, I think the ones that I've seen the most are Maxine and Inside Out 2. I'm at 3 in theater viewings with all of them.
God.
I feel like there might be more. Like I feel like there was something at, you know, Sundance or South by that I had to watch.
You watched like multiple, yeah.
Probably. I don't know, but I love both of them. You know what thing I still do, Matt, and it drives me nuts?
What?
I had this when the first Inside Out movie came out. Every single time I try to type Inside Out, I write Insidious instead. And I had to type Inside Out for this episode's description, and I did it again.
Insidious Out.
Why?
I don't know. That actually, like, I understand certain mix-ups, but like that one's an interesting one to be like. Well,
if you look at the letters in Inside Out,
it does kind of look like Insidious very quickly.
It's like after INSID, you either go in one direction or another. Like I either write it right or I write Insidious.
You know what? You're spot on, because now I'm remembering when I was scrolling through Twitter after everyone could post about Inside Out 2, Evangelista said like Inside Out 2 made me cry like a baby or something. And literally I'm scrolling through very quickly and I thought it said Insidious 2 made me cry like a baby. And I'm like, why is he like I'm like, why is he rewatching it? What is happening? So like I commented under, I'm like, dude, this makes no sense, but I read this as Insidious 2 and this is hilarious to me now. But so yeah, you're right, actually.
While we're on the topic of Inside Out 2, which is not Insidious 2, it's very exciting because the movie is hitting a big milestone this week, and it's a $1 billion movie.
That's crazy. Like, I mean, sorry, it's not crazy. Like, but like,
I mean, it feels kind of crazy given the state of the box office and how we keep talking about things, you know, not hitting the levels that they need to. And I was really hopeful that I obviously wanted it to be good because Inside Out is one of my favorite movies of all time. But in addition to just wanting it to be good, I wanted it to be a hit. And feels like a dream that it's happening. The headline on the Wrap, just in case anybody wants to know, is Inside Out 2 is the fastest animated film to reach $1 billion at the global box office. Pixar hits the milestone in 3 weekends, while A Quiet Place Day 1 keeps box office running hot with 53 million opening.
That's cool. All right, we're getting back. Like again, horror especially. I was like not worried about, but like it's been a kind of like slow year for things. Picking up. So for A Quiet Place to do that, hell yeah.
A favorite Pixar movie and a favorite horror movie, both soaring at the same time, is making me very happy.
I guess like I could talk about star power. You have Joseph Quinn and Lupita in A Quiet Place, because like again, I'm interested that's the one that's taking off financially, but it makes sense.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yep.
We have to talk about that in
Yeah, we
depth.
gotta get through some more super.
Yeah.
well done.
Mental Me wants to know, what are your thoughts on the ballerina trailer? I didn't watch it. Did you?
Oh no, I didn't watch it yet. Shit.
I must watch it. Thank
Yeah.
you for these reminders, Mental Me.
Yeah, well, it is always nice when someone's like, "Did you watch this yet?" And it's like, "No, I didn't
Yeah.
yet." Shit, I
a
have
lot,
to.
of, a lot of homework to do.
Yeah.
Annabelle is here. Nice seeing everyone, and shout out to Mia, of course. 3 questions. 1, any upcoming Stephen King project you're looking forward to? 2, when is Rogers auditioning for his first role? Great question. 3, any anticipated indie films? I'll answer the first one quickly. Oh my god, the name is escaping me now that I just said that. The big one for me with Stephen King adaptations is Life of Chuck, which it was recently announced is premiering at TIFF this year, which instantly makes TIFF one of my most anticipated film festivals of the year. And then also Oz Perkins, the director of Longlegs, is whipping up another. He's got the monkey.
The monkey.
With the other cool thing about that is because I just binged The Gentleman, I'm on a Theo James high right now, and I feel like dude deserves more credit than he ever gets for his work.
I like Theo James.
Meanwhile, isn't he an Emmy nominee after I say that for White Lotus?
Probably, yeah.
Whatever. He deserves even more respect for his range, and the idea of him playing twins in that makes me very happy.
Yeah, I think mine's the monkey. I just like saying it like that. It is the monkey, but monkey.
Well, you do know now you're going to have to keep that up.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You can't ever say it any other way.
Perkins just talked about it too. There was a quote, and like the way he kind of described the film, like he's taking like a comical approach and stuff like that. Like I liked what he said about how he's doing it. So I'm very curious about that one.
Wait, which one did you just say?
The monkey.
Oh yeah.
You
were still on that. I thought you said a different title.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No. It like Perkins was talking about how he's approaching it, and I believe he said it like with a humorous tone and all this stuff. So like, Perkins's style so far has been so straightforward and just gloomy and doomy. So if he is going to inject, like, I want to see him inject some humor and see how that works with him. Like maybe that Longlegs being my first positive review to a Perkins movie now has me like, all right, let's go. Let's go. Let's keep it going.
I told you I saw Longlegs a second time, right?
Yeah.
It's really good.
That's going to be an interesting one.
It's really good because you know how I get with details and stuff. I need everything to line up perfectly, and that was one of those movies that made my head spin in a good way after one watch. But I needed everything to make sense the second time around, and boy, does it! That's
fair. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one to see a second time.
When is Rogers auditioning for his first role?
I don't know. It's a good point. Hopefully, like he takes commands, he could do it. Like let's get him in a commercial. Let's do this.
Any anticipated indie films?
I'm not. All right, I'm going to answer this in a different way and say an indie film you should watch right now that is finally available just on Prime Video for free is Molly and Max in the Future, which is a beautiful little indie. So let's talk about one you can actually see instead of like what's coming in the future, because the thing with indies, I think, to me, is you find them just by going to see them like randomly and like you stumbling upon them. Like that's the fun about indie cinema. There isn't much buildup. You just kind of find it and it takes off. So for me, I'm gonna say, go watch Molly and Max in the Future on Prime Video as an answer to an indie that you can see right now and love.
Well, Ghostlight answers that in the same way too. So I'll say that's the priority. I think definitely go watch Ghostlight. Other than that, I'm trying to think of upcoming ones I've actually seen. I mean, I just said Oddity, so that's fresh in my mind. And
Oddity's October, right?
I feel like it's sooner, no?
I think that it might be, but I think that's October.
I can find this information very, very quickly.
I know.
Because they literally just sent something out.
They did
about it.
Email.
IFC will release Oddity in theaters on July 19th.
Oh, it's in July. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I don't know why.
Because maybe it goes to Shudder in October.
That's what it is. Okay, so it's getting confusing now because basically the IFC Midnight banner is gone and it's just IFC and Shudder. So I always forget which one's like just a Shudder or if it's like an IFC first and then to Shudder.
All right, Travis is here. What do you think will become of Home? Sorry, I was just trying to read ahead to make sure there was no spoilers. It's hard to answer this having seen the whole season.
Well, I mean, like, I can easily comment on like where we are. Like, I like the idea that they are putting Butcher back into Ryan's life. And again, one of the good things this season is doing is getting a dying Butcher with a tumor in his brain who is trying to do something different. He's not being the same piece of shit he's always been. He's just kind of a piece of shit with a soul now. And the what he's doing with Ryan, especially I think in like episode 2 or whatever, where he like doesn't drug him. Like, that's such growth for Butcher that he's not drugging Ryan to like take him away. Like, he's letting the boy make his own choices, but ultimately that looks like what's winning him over. So I like that idea. I would love that to get wrapped up this season. If we're talking about the next 3 episodes. So that's one of those plot lines that I'm like, okay, we're really dragging this along. And like, I hope that is finished when it's all said and done. I think ultimately it is not going to be, but whatever, you know.
I'm into it. I like them taking their time with that just because I feel like we need to take time with Ryan to really get into his head at this age and in this new environment. So I'm into that. I also love the actor playing Ryan on TikTok. He's having a lot of fun as the season rolls out, and he keeps coming up in my For You page, and he's making fun content, so go check him out.
Oh, cool. Cameron, right? Cameron Corvetti?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wiley's here as a massive soundtrack. Does Maxine soundtrack live up to X's caliber? I think X is one of the best soundtracks ever for genre. High praise, but I get it, Wiley. I think it does.
I think it's a taste thing too. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Incredibly 80s. It's set in 1985 LA, and it's very like, it opens with ZZ Top. We're off to the races with 80s music. So like, if that's your vibe, you're hitting it. But no, I do think the actual soundtrack itself, I love X.
If they release a 3-pack vinyl, I am definitely going to buy it.
Yeah, because again, all those the 80s influences on this one, like you get like the synth, you get all that shit going in there. Like, I think it's pretty damn good.
You know what else I really want, Matt? They just on the A24 store released the Maxine jacket, the green one, and I kind of want it, but I'm like, is that pushing it? Is that just going to be cool for me to have now, and then I won't actually ever wear it? But I do really like it.
I get it. Yeah.
I'll think about it. Maybe it'll be like the talk to me hand, where I'll sit with it for a little while and then just buy it anyway.
I mean, go for it.
David says, quick heads up, when you watch season 3 of The Bear, you should skip the first episode because nothing happens in it. It's only a series of flashbacks in Carmi's life to the tune of a sad piano score and has almost no dialogue. That actually intrigues me quite a bit.
I did hear that. So I did see people talking about the first episode, and I saw like, honestly, differing opinions. I did see some people be like, what the fuck? I don't understand what we're doing here. But in this, I'm trying to think how that works in the tone of the show. And I mean, it is a very contemplative show. Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of this is just about like people dealing with their fucking demons and looking back on their lives. And if they're able to manage doing that in a way that, you know, I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna go through every episode the way they intended. I want to see what the story they tell. So
yeah,
I get it though. Like, I get it. If it is just a montage, like,
I get why something like that would work for some and not others. Something that you know, is creatively ambitious in that way does intrigue me though. So now I kind of want to see it. Mental Me says, do you have any cameos you are looking forward to or hoping for in Deadpool and Wolverine?
I hope that the end credits scene is just Pizza Papa again.
I wouldn't mind that.
I hope it's the biggest fuck you. Like the first Deadpool, when it's just Deadpool being like, why are you here? What are you doing? Leave. Go home. Like, I want him to do that and just like go eat go eat with Pizza Papa. That's it. That's all I want.
Trying to think of a good one.
They bring back Kit Harington. The one fucking, oh man, that ending scene that went nowhere is.
Yeah, I feel like this is part of the problem though. It's a little difficult to get excited about I just want a good story for the main characters and a good core narrative.
No, but like they've already unfortunately spoiled a bunch of them too. Whether or not, you know, like, so like whether they're true or not, like whether that whether that actually happens in the film, like a bunch of the ones that would have been fun to think about are already out there. So like,
I guess that's the benefit of not keeping up with news like I used to, is that I'm not aware of many.
What?
You don't know that.
That's what I'm saying. Like whether they're in it or not. Like, but like it's still in my mind. Like thinking about like, oh, that could be cool. Like they might be, they might not be, but like now it's there. Or I'm just trying to think of like end credit scenes that went nowhere that could be funny to like throw in. Like putting old Hercules in there. We haven't fucking. What was that? What was the point of that? Are we actually going to get anything from that end credit scene? I don't know. I feel like Deadpool can have fun making fun of that. Be like, weren't you supposed to be in another movie or something? Like that would be.
I'm fine with something playful.
Yeah.
I don't need it to be super connective. I just want a good movie. That's it. Just want a good movie.
I'm in on it. I know there's a lot of like, I don't know. People are being, I feel like, mean to this movie already.
Well, people are being mean to everything. I mean, not everyone. I don't want to say that so broadly, but it just feels like you know, some fandoms are in like really negative territory, and it's upsetting.
It's even the stuff like people just like shitting on this movie before it comes out and like dissecting the trailer in like weird ways of being like, oh my god, this is a $200 million movie and it looks so ugly. How could you do this? Like, oh my god, they actually shot on location. It looks worse than the other stuff. And like, I don't know. I don't see that. I'm like, cool, let's see the movie.
I don't know. Any trailer I've watched thus far looks pretty good. I'm excited.
MK Songbird said bring back Kevin Durant, and I am very on board with that.
Kevin Durant in everything, please. Literally everything. Also because he's a delightful human being, so I just want to interview him for every movie. All right. A Quiet Place?
I feel like I have to tell Zeno Hour that I do believe in Joe Hendry.
Oh.
It's fine. I want to make sure he knows.
Who is that?
It's a wrestler. It's Joe Hendry.
I wasn't sure. Like sometimes when I don't know things, I don't want to pull the comment up in case it puts you on a spot.
No, it's totally fine. Yeah, no. Joe Hendry is a wrestler, and his entrance music is him singing "I Believe in Joe Hendry," and it's amazing. It's so good.
You're watching AEW today, right?
Yeah, Forbidden Door.
They're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I passed the trucks after I landed.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know people who are going to the show because it's
so cool.
I think it's by you, right? Like
it's not far. It's not far. Like I could get a last minute ticket and drive over right after this, but I'm not going without you guys.
No, it's you should. It's so much fun.
All right, A Quiet Place. Do you want to say? And have we spoken non-spoiler about it?
No, we haven't talked about this yet. What is it?
What is it? What is it?
It is good ranch.
Yeah.
Sorry, Amelia just made ranch dressing.
Ooh.
That's quite good. I'll give you that.
Okay.
No, we have not talked about this at all.
Do you want to say some non-spoiler thoughts first?
We can do non-spoiler. Let me get a seltzer really quickly. I'm just very thirsty and dehydrated.
Okay.
I apologize.
It's okay. No, you're doing what you should. I'll give some non-spoiler thoughts in the meantime. I already posted a non-spoiler review for this, but I generally just like loved this movie. I've been really into the idea of a contained alien invasion story like we've gotten in A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. But as someone who is usually drawn to big epic disaster movies, one of my favorite sequences in both of those first two movies is the beginning of film 2 when they show what happens to the town after the aliens invade. When you take something like that and you bring it into Manhattan of all places, I am just prone to eat that up, and I very much did. I also thought Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn were exceptional on their own, creating complex characters, and also together. The chemistry between the two of them seriously fuels this movie. But also another person who is not getting the credit he deserves for his work in the movie is Alex Wolff, who I also thought was absolutely exceptional. Again, perfect chemistry with Lupita Nyong'o, and it's so important to kind of setting the stage for her situation, how that is reflected in their relationship. And the two of them together, I thought were just brilliant in that respect. And because I tweeted this and everybody knows it, man, Matt, Frodo is just the coolest animal character. I love Frodo. Dude just looks like a little black and white snowball just being bundled up and taken everywhere. I fell so hard for that cat.
Argyle could never.
Oh, I never saw it.
I
managed to avoid it.
Yeah, good. You did. So like my very non-spoiler take is I enjoyed this movie a great fucking deal. I went into it expecting A Quiet Place Cloverfield edition. Like that's kind of what I thought it would be in a way, like a monster invasion movie in New York.
It's got those vibes.
So it does. It definitely
in a
has
good way.
Right. But what I love about it, and like the way I described it in my review, is kind of like it starts out exactly how you'd expect. It is the alien invasion, the Death Angels, whatever you want to call them. Like they touch down, it's chaos, it's loud, it's angry. But then it becomes like it's almost like you're playing a video game and you just get bored with the main plot, so you go do a side quest for like an hour and like it. And it's good. It's good in that sense because it steps away from everything that is so big and that we focused on so much already. And it tells this like it's a stealth, like kind of like relationship buddy comedy. Obviously it's not a full comedy. There's tons of heartbreak and drama in it, but like the way it goes is very light. It's nice. The aliens just kind of take a back seat and go like, cool, go find your pizza, go do your thing. And I love that. I think what you just said, like the performance is A+, and like what they generate, the emotional kind of storytelling they go through together is way better than it has any right to be.
I actually think that having them go on what you described as a side quest versus some like big epic mission to like find the thing that'll be the cure or something, you know, in that vein, I actually think it winds up making it a more profound movie because the side quest is so deeply personal.
Yeah, like in any other approach to this, or any like main approach, I guess I would say, like it's them trying to evacuate. Like that's it. Like it's them trying to get out. That's always a monster movie. It's like you want to avoid the monsters, you want to get to safety. That is what. But like everyone else does that, and they're like, yeah, what if we went this way though? Let's go this way. And like it just is. We'll get into spoiler territory, and I'll get deeper into it. But like for non-spoiler, yeah, I think this is. I like A Quiet Place a lot. I don't really love the sequel all that much. I think it's fine. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but this might be my favorite. A day one might actually be my favorite.
Oh, I love that, Matt.
Just by a little bit. I think the difference between this and A Quiet Place to me, like if we're gonna stack them up, like I think they're both very good for different reasons. But what this one does, I think I'm just a little more into.
I think we're seeing the expansion of franchises in the best possible way in 2024, because obviously this is on my mind. Inside Out 2 is on my mind. Maxine is on my mind.
Well, I was going to say prequels, like fucking go to the First Omen. Like, I think this is a year of the prequel that has no right to be as good as it is. Like that kind of thing. I do think it's a good year for continuing franchises, which I don't think we get consistently in a single year like we are getting right now. And I love it. Before we go into spoilers, I'll answer this question from Jeremy. 10 out of 10. Yeah, it's 12, man. 10 out of 10. That cat.
I adore that cat.
The way it looks at people is so funny. Just like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like, we're trying to not die. We're trying to live.
And he's an adorable, squeezable face too. Fucking love Frodo. All right. A Quiet Place Day One spoilers. This is the point in the show where we must say goodbye to anybody who has not seen the movie yet. It is an excellent movie. Highly recommend you go out and see it. So don't spoil it for yourself by listening to this conversation if you have not seen it. And also, we need really great horror movies and franchise continuations like this one. So go keep supporting that box office so we get more of them. Thank you. It is time for A Quiet Day. A Quiet Day.
A Quiet Day.
A Quiet Day Place One spoilers. Wait, Matt, hold on. Fuck. This is a hard spooner. It's a hard spoonerism.
You got it.
Apply it quace. A done spoilers. I spoonerismed the two halves.
Glad that was worth it.
It kind of wasn't. It wasn't as satisfying as other spoonerisms, but I had to do it once I thought about the challenge.
No, once you gave it in mind, like it was going to kill you if you didn't do it.
All right. Where do you want to begin with this?
Actually, Steve, is a good question. Do you think Day One will connect to Quiet Place Part 3? No, I don't think it will. I think what they set up, and one of the things I'll start talking about, and what I really like about this is there is a scene early on where you see a globe with pieces of tape on it, and it is clear that like whoever's talking on the radio and like taking all these notes down and hearing things from governments is like marking where the attacks are happening. And it's basically everywhere. Every major city has a little piece of tape on it with a name written on it. And I think that opens the door to do so many cool things with like, all right, we've done New York. Now, what if we go international? What if we see it in Rome? What if we see it in anywhere, like in Paris? Like, I think we just talked about expansion, like taking a franchise and doing more stuff. I think it is such a cool place that they have taken it to. but you also have that main storyline that still is there. So to me, I kind of feel like A Quiet Place Day One was specifically meant to bring you to the beginning, but also pull that expansion so wide so they can do whatever they want now.
Mm.
But I think if we're gonna go with like part one, or sorry, like A Quiet Place part two, and part three, I think is gonna still be in that main kind of tangent. But I hope in my heart of hearts we do get more at day ones. Like I don't know, give me another day one somewhere else. I want to see this over and over again.
I love that anthology format. I think
Yeah.
more franchises out there should embrace that. I'm with you though. If they call it A Quiet Place Part 3, it's going to continue the main storyline.
Yeah.
I really loved the connectivity they had here though. Because
Yeah.
sometimes that's done in a heavy-handed or forced way where it takes away from the effectiveness of the narrative just to say, like, look at how it connects. But I thought Jaimin Hansu's character was really well woven into this narrative, and in a way where like he gets a really satisfying payoff. He doesn't just pop up.
Yeah.
Like even I will say, even if it was just what he has in the first half of the movie, I still would have said like that's a really solid like inclusion of that character here. Getting him again at the end and seeing his interaction with Joseph Quinn's character and knowing where he's heading, I thought made his role in this film especially effective.
So now, actually playing off of that, I'm glad you brought that up because, like, I actually did think he felt a little shoehorned in. That was one of my own. I think Jaimin is great. His presence is so profound in every movie. I think he's just one of those actors you throw him in and like, oh shit, like he's here, like this is great. But to me, this felt like if we're gonna get an offshoot of this movie, if we're gonna get a sequel to Day One specifically, I think where we go is Jaimin's little island. I think we're gonna see him and that whole group able to go there and build their community that we eventually know what happens to because of A Quiet Place Part 2. But like, yeah, like I think one of the great misses of 2 for me is that whole community. I think for Jaimin just to like kind of show up and then just get fucking mauled,
wow.
like I think that is such an injustice. So I hope we get that movie of all of them coming together and building that and what that looks like and how they do that. And also, again, now you set us up with the fact that Joseph Quinn is there. Like he's on that island and like we never saw him. So like what happens there? Like
that's not an easy role for an actor to play too.
Yeah.
Like,
so let's talk about the performances because Jesus Christ, they are just amazing. And Lupita, we knew, like let's be honest, like Lupita, we knew was going to crush this. And like the fact that you started a monster movie with a character who's ready to die, and that is such a interesting way to approach it. Because once again, go right back to what I was saying about how I love how this is kind of like a subversion on monster movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Lupita's mission is not to survive. Lupita's just like, I want my favorite slice of pizza. Shout out to Patsy's, which A+, like good work, good New York reference.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like Lupita is fine with death. She's there. She's like, I don't need this. So like, I don't care about safety. I don't care about everything and the way that monster movies work. I'm going to go the opposite direction. And for like Joseph Quinn to follow, it's hard because it's like, why are you following? Because you want to survive.
Yeah.
And the way he like externalizes anxiety and panic and the idea that he's just like, I am terrified and I just need a person. Like
these are not easy roles to bring to life on screen. And like I think she does a beautiful job of balancing, you know, like the darkness and the upsetting inevitability of her situation and respecting that and not making light of it, but while also exuding this infectious energy that ensures you can't take your eyes off of her and you want to spend more and more time with her. And then he also has a lot on his shoulders. Like, dude, like Eric sucks. He's lame at the beginning. He's just following her around, not contributing, but watching what he does through his performance in terms of what she brings out of him and how he rises to the occasion. That's a big ass arc for one movie. And to do that so believably is something else. And I think he pulls that off extremely well.
And again, like he was the gamble. It's like, okay, you're good in Stranger Things. Don't get me wrong, but like, you know, a little unproven, let's say, on the main stage. So this is the talent's there. Like this was everything that I wanted to see from Joseph Quinn. And like, he is standing tall right next to Lupita and able to like go blow for blow with
Mhm.
with that emotional storytelling through their arc.
He's done other things other
Yeah,
than Stranger Things,
yeah, yeah.
but you know, in a more general sense, this is being viewed as his like first big thing after Stranger Things in a sense. That's a big deal for an actor, and I think he and his team chose well, and also he showed off what he's capable of well beyond what people know him best for, and that is of the utmost importance with, you know, Stranger Things in general coming to a close too. I think a lot of
Yeah.
those actors are going to be tested in that respect, and I'm curious to see how many of them thrive after the show wraps up, and
Yeah.
you know, how many are remembered for maybe their epic performance in that show, but not much else. But he is just with this proved to me that he's got all the potential in the world. I also, because we were just talking about what could happen next with a part 3 or maybe a direct sequel to Day 1. I would be really excited by the idea of Lupita's character continuing on through Joseph Quinn's character, Eric,
Oh yeah.
where he makes certain choices and behaves a particular way because of how she has influenced and inspired him. So I think there's a lot of creative potential there.
He's got to protect Frodo.
Protect Frodo.
Gotta protect
With
Frodo.
everything he's got. Matt, the fact that that cat survived
I know.
made this
Well, the
But,
fact that the
like,
cat's a character too. It's not just that, like, it's not just there for shits and giggles. If you want to say,
No.
like, that cat, like,
it matters.
helps them so much.
Yeah. No, Frodo matters. Frodo has a significant role in the film. I was on the edge of my seat. I was so incredibly nervous about what could happen to that cat. We talk about this often. I try not to judge a movie based on what I want to see happen, but this movie gave me exactly what I wanted to see happen and then some for that cat.
Yeah, and I mean, like, talking about Michael Sarnowski coming into this, and you know, he makes Pig, which is a deeply amazing movie. One of my favorites of that year, and I freaking love it.
Hi, baby. Everyone hears you.
Also, Rogers is right next to me. He's just chilling. But yeah, I want to shout out Sarnowski because I think this movie could have pissed a lot of people off, and I think it will too. I think this is going to be a failure in some people's eyes because it's not a traditional monster movie. But the way that he made me not miss at all the conventions of a monster film, of bringing Cloverfield back into it, like, I got huge Cloverfield vibes from those trailers, and I'm like, you know, yeah, give me that New York based, like that real New York monster movie.
Yeah.
You know, Godzilla, all those, like, go down the list. And he delivers that on a small scale and then just goes off and makes a drama. And it's like, interesting choice, but it's something he pulls off. And that's like, it's crazy how well he pulls it off and made me just so invested in their little journey.
I think he does the best of both worlds. Like, I did get very clear Cloverfield vibes from this film, and I loved them. I thought it was really well done. I think the whole movie is just like a beautiful balance of character building and drama, but also those kinds of city-based alien set pieces that had me on the edge of my seat, stressed me the fuck out with that cat. I mean, I thought it was all exceptional. I really, really, really loved this movie. I mean, I feel like I've said this a lot this year. Like, my list of like top movies of the year that could be contenders for favorite of the year, dude, it's big. I have a lot.
Yeah. It's been a good year so far, and I haven't even seen Ghostlight and stuff yet. So like, I'm getting there. I Am Legend. Someone just said I Am Legend there too, like 100%, like the deep vibes. But like, again, I just checked to see if my piece posted. I wrote a piece for IGN, and the title says everything. A Quiet Place Day One isn't really about the monsters at all, and like that's what I stand by. And like that, I love how horror movies are usually about fear and being afraid of something and like confronting it and doing that. And A Quiet Place Day One is about that, but again, it's not about confronting the monsters. It's about confronting death and like mortality, this being this like looming specter. And it's like, it's a life affirming movie, where horror movies are usually about like being afraid of a monster and then dying by its hand, and there's only one survivor. This is not that. I mean, don't get me wrong. That is on a small scale. Again, it's in the beginning. It's a little bit at the end. Like we get those little bursts, but a majority of the movie is just that kind of like soul searching, heartfelt movie. And I'm like, where did this come from? Like,
Yeah.
like halfway through the movie, I'm just sitting there going like, what?
And heavily about what it means to live on and to be a member of the community that gets to live on. That's why a sequel for this also really a direct sequel really speaks to me, because it could very easily build on those particular themes and ideas that this one is exploring and do it in a worthwhile way.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I'm just endlessly impressed with how he pulled that off. This is a movie that if I was describing it pre-seeing it would sound like something that would just make me like frustrated. Like, why aren't you going to do the thing I wanted to do? Blah, blah, blah. Like that bullshit like that. But that's why we wait for execution. That's why we wait to actually see a movie and react to it. So
I'm gonna watch this movie a lot.
Yeah, it's good.
This is definitely going to be a highly rewatched film for me.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. We did it. I think we got to just about everything we said we would, at least.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of.
I think
maybe. Okay. What do you want to promote, Matt?
Well, like I just said, you can go read my latest piece on IGN that posted yesterday about A Quiet Place Day One and how deeply emotional it is. But for things like that and for podcasty things and other things, follow me at Donatobomb, Twitter, Letterboxd, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, wherever you want to go. I'm posting mainly on Twitter and Letterboxd and Instagram. The others are just kind of supplementary, but go follow them all. Go see what I do. And podcast, Certified Forgotten. We talk about horror movies with 10 or less critic reviews and Rotten Tomatoes and try to champion them and give them their time that they never got. So, yay.
Go check all that out. And then, per usual, I will tell you to leave this YouTube channel and go on over to the Collider Ladies Night YouTube channel, where, if you look in the live chat right here, I have dropped in a link to the latest episode, which is for Maxine. It's with Elizabeth Debicki, who, I know I've said this about a couple of guests, and she definitely falls into this category. The way she talks about her craft is built for the Collider Ladies Night style of conversation. I could have talked to her for hours and hours and hours. She had so much insight, was definitely really thriving talking about acting challenges that we don't usually get to hear about in depth. So I thought she was great. There's also one from last week with Kaya Scodelario for The Gentleman, but also we talked a little bit about Maze Runner, Skins, another really great conversation. And next week, I'm not going to say it out loud. It's on the schedule to tape tomorrow, but until it happens, I'm not going to dare jinx it. But you can bet that the second it is in the can, I will take some screenshots and I will show you exactly who it will be and what for. And it will launch next Friday. And I think you're going to like it. I hope so. I hope it happens. All right. That's it.
One thing, Everything is Entertainment said, did I miss the Maxine review? We briefly touched on Maxine, but we were never going to do a full review. We're going to do that full review next week.
Yeah, we'll go heavy into this one. We'll go heavy into that one next week, and then the week after, it'll be a pretty heavy discussion about Matt, I can't wait to talk about Long Leg spoilers too.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I think we meant to just have a quick little reaction.
Yeah.
Maxine versus.
I mean, if you want to know what we thought about Maxine, I think I'm 2 thumbs up, and I feel like you were a thumb up and a half.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. It's a little bit of that. It's good. It's just, to me, it has fallen to be the weakest of the franchise to me.
Okay. I love them all equally. All right. That's it. We're out of here, and we will see you next Friday with another Merri Hour to talk about a bunch of things and a whole lot of Maxine. Goodbye, everyone.